isn't lunch like the worst time of the day when you have kids? I mean, even when it's just me, I won't usually eat lunch because of all the preparation it takes to feed myself. But when you're feeding young children, they tend to require lunch because otherwise they're hangry and you don't want to deal with that either. So come with me while I make some lunch for my kiddos and listen to this. The other day, my kiddo, was watching TV, okay? And we've had this situation happen more than one time, which told me, I think I'm gonna need to address this behavior in a different way. And my son was watching TV, and when the timer goes off, he's supposed to turn off the TV, okay? For a while, the TV would turn itself off because it worked and it had a really working timer, and now it's just useless to me and it doesn't help me at all. So he has to turn it off, and he's 7, okay? So sometimes he's better at this and sometimes he's not. Most of the time, it's generally okay, but lately he's really been pushing it to being like, oh, I'm gonna turn it off after I stretch, or I'm about to, and it takes him like 2 full minutes to press the off button. So I've been noticing this and giving it a little grace, like it's not that big of a deal, right? Well, twice now I've set the timer, been like, hey, when this goes off, that's when you press the button, right? And I fell asleep one morning. It was Sunday morning, okay? I don't like to get up till like 8 o'clock. I really don't want to be up before 8 o'clock, but my kid wakes up around 7. So that means by 8 o'clock, the TV needs to be turned off because then we're starting breakfast, morning routine, etc. Well, this particular Sunday, I slept through my alarms. I got up at the first one at 7:20 and went out and made sure that he knew, hey, here's your timer. Make sure you turn it off at this time. And then I went back to bed and I set an alarm for 8 o'clock for me to get up. Well, it's been time change and that's been rougher on me than usual. And I did not get up at 8 o'clock. I got up at 8:40. And guess who was still watching TV? Yeah, my kiddo. I go out there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know he doesn't have, I knew, it's like I wanted to believe that he was ready to be able to do that skill by himself. But the fact is that he's not, okay? And I'm not going to hate on him for it. I just recognize that he doesn't have the skill to be able to self-monitor himself enough to turn it off when he's supposed to. So we've been talking about integrity, about how, you do the right thing even when no one's looking, right? Well, he couldn't do it yet, okay? So instead of just talking to him about it, it was time, especially because it's happened more than once, to apply a logical consequence. I'm not going to be unreasonable and say, okay, no TV for the rest of the week. I'm not saying, okay, well, now you can't have this, or now I'm going to take away this privilege, etc. Like, I'm not going overboard. We're going for respectful, relatable, and sorry, another timer went off. I wonder what that one's for. Whenever we apply a consequence, we need it to be related to the behavior. It also needs to be related to the child's age and development. So a logical consequence I put for him was all right, well, that means that we're not going to have TV for the rest of the day because you already used up your screen time. We have a 2-hour screen time rule in my house, and he did that. He watched TV from like 7 until almost 9 o'clock. So what does that mean? Well, that means you've used up your screen time for the day. You won't have it again. You used it all up. So that's the logical consequence that I applied. Another one that I did was the next morning, I said, because, you have been having a hard time turning this off when it's supposed to, I need you to turn it off at the end of the bar, which is like at the end of the episode, instead of leaving it up to you to turn it off, in 30 or 40 minutes. Was he happy about this? No. Did he cry about this? Yes. Did I comfort him for about, I don't know, in real life, it was probably like 5 minutes. It felt like 20, but it was really probably 5. And he's allowed to feel his feelings. Be sad, man. Like, it is disappointing. It sucks. Like, oh man, I know you really wish you could have done it this way, but you weren't ready. And so now we're going to need to learn this lesson a little bit harder than the first time. Okay. And so then he, so I co-regulated with him. We got it all together. And then he watched TV and he got over and it's fine. And that's something that we're going to be working on this week is, okay, you have to be able to prove that you can, be reliable with our rules that we have in our household. And if you can't do that on your own, then I have to be more involved, right? I have to, be more on top of the timer. I have to be the one turning off the TV, whatever the case, until he gets to continue growing those skills.